I'm Brad Sherman from America's best named city, Sherman Oaks. And once again, I've taken the 101 freeway downtown from the San Fernando Valley to march. We marched for science. We marched for tax return disclosure. We marched with and for women. And many of us were here for the rally for Proposition 61 when Senator Bernie Sanders joined with us to demand reasonable pharmaceutical prices. Today we march for truth because truth is under attack. Science is under attack. Not since Galileo was hauled before the Inquisition have the deniers of science had more powerful friends. We tried as a species to go without science for about 1,000 years. We call those years the Dark Ages. I've learned that we need to rely on scientific consensus, scientific facts, not alternative facts. Fact. Global climate change is real and predominantly man-made, and if we don't reduce our greenhouse gases, we're going to lose our forests, our beaches, our health, and entire countries like the Maldive Islands. We need to re-sign the Paris Accords right now. And let me add one more scientific fact. Donald Trump can't stop global warming just by emitting an unprecedented volume of hot air. I'm going to say that again. Donald Trump can't stop global warming just by emitting an unprecedented volume of hot air. Not only is truth under attack, not only is science under attack, but our Constitution is under attack. And one part of our Constitution is the Emoluments Clause. And we cannot enforce the Emoluments Clause until we see Donald Trump's tax returns. Trump knew that. He said in 2014, if I decide to run for office, I will produce my tax returns. Then in the Republican debate, he said, I'll release my tax returns, but they're under audit. I'm an old tax nerd. I'm a CPA, I'm a certified tax law specialist, and I'm here to tell you, as co-chair of the House Bipartisan CPA Caucus, there is no reason at all for Donald Trump not to produce his tax returns. His 2011 and 2012 and 2010 tax returns aren't even under audit. We'd like to see those, thank you. But what is this argument that you can't produce your tax returns because they're under audit? We understand that you don't want to share information with your adversary. Now, in a tax audit, your adversary is the IRS, but they already have Donald Trump's tax returns. Who is the adversary Donald Trump doesn't want to share information with? The American people. But it's not enough just to see his Form 1040. You see, he has already disclosed that he owns interest in 532 closely held business entities. We need to see those tax returns. Donald Trump appears to control over 100 foreign entities. We need to see the tax returns of Trump Panama LLC, Trump Korea, DT Dubai Gulf LLC, and his businesses in Saudi Arabia, China, and Qatar. I'm an old CPA from Sherman Oaks, and I want to see Donald Trump's tax returns. I believe I was the first to call for a special counsel in early January. And it was the Obama administration. Loretta Lynch went on TV and said, I've gotten the request from Brad Sherman, I'm not going to do it. She said no. But the American people demanded that the answer is yes, and we have a special counsel. I am old enough to remember Watergate. And boy, this looks like Watergate 2.0. For some of the younger people in the crowd, let's go through Watergate. There was a burglary. The burglars were after the files at the DNC, the Democratic National Committee. And for those of you who are particularly young, back then files meant something in a manila folder. That was a file. There was a crime, there was a burglary. But the issue was who conspired with the burglars. And we learned in Watergate, it wasn't who committed the crime, it was the cover-up. Let's look at a few parallels. There was a burglary of the files of the Democratic National Committee. And for those of you even older than me, today's files are not in manila folders, they're on hard drives. The cyber burglars stole those files. The issue is not the crime, it's who conspired with the cyber burglars. But the real issue is not the cyber burglary, it's the cover-up. Our Constitution has a clause that says high crimes and misdemeanors. And in every state in this country, as well as under federal law, obstruction of justice is a crime. Now, there have been some legal scholars who have argued that the federal obstruction of justice statute doesn't apply to this particular case. But most crimes are a matter of state law. And if you take a look at District of Columbia Criminal Code Section 22-722, Subdivision A3B, you'll find out that it is indeed a crime to try to obstruct a criminal investigation by harassing those who are involved in it. This Thursday, C-SPAN will have the highest ratings it has ever had. We will see Director Comey, former Director Comey, relate exactly what happened, and we will apply the standard. Was this an attempt to derail a criminal investigation? You can derail an investigation by turning to a law enforcement professional who wants to keep his job and saying, well, if you want to keep your job, could you just put away that investigation? And you can obstruct justice by firing the head of who's ever investigating the crime you're trying to cover up. Join me I get to see it in person. We want to see this because a march for truth requires that we get the truth about Donald J. Trump. Thank you very much. And if you want more information, please drop me a line at congressmanbradSherman@gmail.com. Thank you again.